Hi my dudes, I'm Average Dom Slim. Now running injuries suck. They absolutely do, but they're a part of our sport and they're one that we have to learn how to deal with. Now this video is about how to return from a running injury, how to cope during an injury mentally, how to stay somewhat fit, and how to build back in order to remain injury-free with a view to becoming stronger than ever. Now 17 weeks ago, an MRI confirmed that vague pain in my foot and ankle was a beautiful pairing between a stress reaction and a stress fracture in two different bones in my right foot. These stressed out little bones meant that I had to pull out of the GC marathon a week before the big dance. Now I was gonna run 2:39. This video is largely about my experience with injury, how I've coped and how I'm getting back to full fitness. If you're injured or coming back from injury, please see your expert. This part is hard. Now the physical part is almost certainly easier. It's the mental part that's really tricky. Injuries can feel heavy, depressing, isolating, like things are never going to get light again. Dealing with the bad news is just the first step. You're in pain, you miss a race, you can't run, maybe you can't even walk. Dealing with the uncertainty is the next part, and that's a lot harder. Not knowing when you're going to be able to run again, not knowing if the injury will return, not knowing how to heal the injury, whether you need surgery, not knowing if you'll ever get back to running or if you'll ever find your peak fitness again. That not knowing is definitely the hardest part. Now the bad news, I learned to deal with that pretty quickly. I learned to focus on the beautiful things, the good things that are in my life that are deeper than running. Love, relationships, nature. But dealing with uncertainty was a lot harder and took me a lot longer. But I learned to live with that too. That life is uncertain, that certain things are just beyond your control. I learned to enjoy right now and not wait until I was fit again in order to be happy. I appreciated any movement. I appreciated my health in general. And I appreciated that this injury wasn't a permanent part of my life and that I would eventually be fit again. Now there's a hidden gem in injury. That is forced rest, forced recuperation. We live in a time and participate in a sport where more is more, and we just want to get better and faster all the time. But that leads to burnout, physically and mentally. Yes, I was at my peak fitness when I got injured, but I was also on the precipice of burnout. Now, 4 months off running, yeah, I've lost physical fitness, of course. But I also feel fresher and more motivated than I've ever been. And I'm so ready to come back and smash into new territory and become the best athlete I've ever been. During injury, I also set goals and I cross-trained, and these things kept me motivated. I did as much as I was allowed to do. I don't like being still. I don't like sitting at home doing nothing. So for the first 6 weeks, I was confined to crutches, but I was allowed to swim and do some stuff in the gym. For the next 3 weeks off crutches, I kept swimming. I could do lower body in the gym now, and I started leg and ankle strengthening exercises. For the next 4 weeks, I was allowed to ride the bike at home and outside. And I started various plyometric exercises like jumping and hopping. For the next 4 weeks, which has been the last 4 weeks, I've been mastering the art of the run walk. If you are injured, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Tell me about your story, how it's going for you. And I want to tell you this, it's going to be okay. Now, firstly, how have I known to progress through all these phases of my rehabilitation? Of course, the MRI and the CT scan was the one that told me to get on crutches in the first place, having that stress fracture in my foot. A follow-up CT scan showed that that fracture had healed, and my doctor told me that I could get off the crutches. Then I was on to clinical examination from my physio through each phase of rehab, and this mostly involved a combination of different calf raises, hopping and jumping to make sure I was ready for that next stage of rehab. The key was making sure I had no pain. Now, the first run walk was something else.
He's a long distance runner and he's goddamn bad.
Since I've been closely following my program, each workout slowly increasing in duration with the breaks getting smaller and smaller.
45 seconds of running, that's it. 30 seconds walk, times 10.
I'm about to go for run number 7 of my return to running.
Mine this morning is 10 by 2 minutes with 30-second breaks. This morning I think I've got 5 by 4 minutes, 4-minute blocks. That's pretty cool. 2 by 8 minutes, then 4 minutes.
Until on Sunday morning, I ran my first non-stop 20-minute run. Not run walk. Run.
I don't want to show off, but I'm about to go on my first 20-minute run non-stop, and I am stoked. Let's go.
Now the path from here continues to be slow and steady. Even small progress is progress. Even backward steps in order to move forward is progress. I still have a couple more run walks until I can move to 3 runs in a week. Then if all goes well, i.e. no pain, I'll gradually build to 4 and 5 running days, and at the same time be building in things like hills, interval training, and long runs. I'm getting there. So subscribe now and join me over the coming weeks and months. Let's do it together. Nail the basics. Eat well, sleep well. I happen to be eating more than usual because I've been trying to put on a little bit of muscle, make some gains in the gym during this period, but fueling well, fueling adequately is vital to rehabilitation. Also, without running every morning, I'm managing to sleep more. I get lots of beautiful sleep ins. In fact, I'm now building up mad energy reserves. I'm like an itchy racehorse ready to go. Stick to the plan. Trust that your physio or your sports doctor knows what they're talking about. It might seem slow, it might seem conservative, but don't rush the return to running. Now, one thing I've done, which killed me to do it, is clear my race calendar. I was so excited to run the Noosa Bolt Elite 5K race in November. Cleared, gone. I was so excited to jump back on the track and give that another crack. Cleared, gone. And I couldn't wait to go back to the GC50 and try and defend my title. Also cleared, gone. I'm not going to race until at least next year. Keep strength training, both during injury in order to aid your rehab and when you return to running in order to help with injury prevention. Keep cross training too. During injury, it keeps me sane, and during my rebuild, it keeps me from getting restless and rushing things. Now expect setbacks. I've had pain in my foot flare up a few times, and immediately, of course, I get all in my head about it. It's all over! But it's not all over. You give it a rest, you give it some time, the pain subsides, and you move on and you progress. Of course, consult your experts, but setbacks, they'll be part of your rehab. Celebrate any progress. I celebrated getting off crutches. I celebrated my first run walk, and of course I celebrated my first run. Yeah, it's nothing compared to what I used to do. I used to run 2 hours and 30 minutes on a Sunday. And this Sunday, I ran 20 minutes, and I'm an absolute legend for it. Don't worry about where you were. Just think about where you will be. And stay mentally strong. You are tough. You are resilient, and you'll only become more resilient with injury in the face of adversity. My mindset has become a fortress over the last 17 weeks. Yeah, I may have lost some physical fitness, but I'll gain that back. What I've gained in mental fortitude, that's invaluable. I'm Average Dom Slim. You're a dead set hero. Do the right thing. Press subscribe. I'll see you next week. I think I've been a little bit more down recently since, I don't know, getting the CT scan results, but trying to keep sane with all the things that I've been doing.
Rough, but I made it. I feel alive.
What an incredible reset this is, to start again from scratch.
Don't worry, I never forget to remember how ridiculous it is to live here. Spiritually, it was just perfect.
Even tiny progress is progress.